Friday, the final day of our PLC training. And man, what an awesome week it has been. I always say the students are what make the class great. And I've had a great group of students this week. So just to recap, Monday, and within 10 minutes of getting here, these guys were writing PLC programs. We don't go over the history of the PLC. We don't go over any, broad concepts. We don't learn about hardware. Really, we get the fingers on the computer and we start programming just to get them familiar with Studio 5000. And by lunchtime, really, they know 80% of the instructions that you're going to run into in a PLC program. Then we start talking about discrete wiring. We learn how to wire inputs, outputs, what syncing is, what sourcing is, how to troubleshoot, how to use the voltmeter if you're not sure how to use it. And yeah, then we go to Tuesday where we expand on that. We learn about analog. We learn about controlling devices over Ethernet, 4 to 20 milliamp versus 0 to 10 volt. How do you hardwire a drive? How do you control it over Ethernet? What's the difference between a current loop and a current source when it comes to 4 to 20 milliamp signals? And then we use that to start making bigger decisions. We'll say bigger decisions probably isn't the right word, but we start, instead of us doing some basic on-off relay type control, we start to make decisions based off a level. In other words, okay, yeah, that's great that we can turn a pump on, we can turn a pump off depending on, let's say, a tank level, but if our tank is empty, we don't need to run it that fast. So, we can, slowly run it. But then as our tank starts to fill up and we start to get behind, then maybe we start to run it faster. So Wednesday, that's my favorite day. That is our reverse engineer day. So that day we start to learn how to walk up onto a machine that we're unfamiliar with and really figure out what it does. And how do you figure out what wire's connected to where if you don't have a wiring diagram? And, how do you figure out, okay, supposedly the operator says this is how we're going to operate it, but that doesn't actually work. How do you figure out how to actually go into a program and really dissect it and figure out what it does? And then, of course, yesterday, it's all about taking everything we've learned and putting it to troubleshooting tests. So on the side of the machine trainer, we have these 30 switches, and we start switching these switches. And it's not a race. That's what I always tell them. It's not a race. It's what all can we learn? What all can we share with each other, experience-wise, and so that we can build on each other's skills. And they did an outstanding job at that. Then we still got today, and today, there's a lot more to do. I have a checklist of things that we're going to cover. Everybody always wants to know, well, what exactly is the class schedule? What is the details? And it's like, I let the class go where it goes. And, so if a question comes up on Monday, we cover it Monday. If it doesn't come up until today, we'll cover it today. But yeah, so this morning, we're going to, every morning, actually, we have a communications exercise. Can they get online? Because that's the most scary thing Monday is that I do not want to hear from anybody that, hey, I couldn't figure out how to get online. I want to have them as prepared as possible. So yeah, there's an issue every morning with connecting to your machine because really that's the call I get from most people. It's like, hey, I took a PLC class and I think I know how to, troubleshoot machines, but I can't figure out how to go online. And so, yeah, there's some problem every morning. But then we're going to extend that. And actually this morning there is a barrage of connecting to different pieces of equipment that are configured to communicate different ways. That way you can figure out, okay, what do I need to know to do all this? We're going to talk about some other communications about this. We got some other switches to switch on this. We're going to talk about some HMIs. And here's where the course ends up being custom each week because sometimes people are like, hey, I'd like to know how to integrate a robot. Sometimes people are like, hey, what about third-party devices? Well, this group, they seem interested in learning about HMIs. So I made some HMI lessons like last night for them. And yeah, we're going to learn how to program an HMI. But anyway, it's been a great week of PLC training. This is by far my favorite thing to do. I don't know. I love making videos to help you guys too. But yeah, I mean, it's just so rewarding to, be able to help someone advance their career. Okay, I do have some chat questions here. I'll try to do this without hitting the camera like I normally do. If I can get this thing to pop back up. And where is it at? There we go. Where's my chat at? I want my live chat. All right. What was that? I have a question about the Micro 850 with a Positional variable encoder, will it work with CIP generic message block? I don't know that. I've never heard of that encoder there. What I would say to that is the CIP generic is more of a messaging command, and encoders usually you're thinking more of high speed type stuff. And so I wouldn't consider that really high speed. So my initial thought would be no. You're probably looking for something like a control logic or compact logics PLC where you can add it into the IO configuration. You may get away with that, you may not. We do have a video on the PowerPlex doing that, so you could look at that video and see if it would help you. I think I have a couple of other videos about that. But anyway, it's been a great week. Everybody have a great weekend. I will talk to you next week.